Did you see what Brunson was doing on the floor?
Oh, of course I did. I've got a lot to say about this whole situation, but yeah, keep going.
So Brunson's on the floor, knowing that he drew the sixth foul on Thompson. He's just putting up six fingers. Like, he's so focused on getting this guy fouled out and getting a foul call instead of focusing on the game. I thought that was really strange. I haven't seen Brunson act like that about getting someone fouled out. I thought that was very out of character, and it looked to me like, well, I'm not going to say the Pistons are in his head, but the officiating was in his head. And if it's in the Brunson's head, he's the leader. It impacts the rest of the team.
Sports and culture all in one. Catch the fire, feel the fun. Andrew Sistad, glad unite. Philly and Y in the spotlight.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 41. We will be recapping the first two games of the Knicks Pistons series. We'll be touching on the rest of the NBA. And something's going on with Sistaddy. We can't see him. Camera's not working, or he's doing something he doesn't want us to see. What's going on here?
I'm just ready to start the podcast, dude. Why don't you tell the people what we're going to get into?
Apparently, you're not going to see Sistad while we get into it. But I already said we're gonna recap the Knicks Pistons first two games. We're gonna get into the rest of the series.
Let's go. Let's talk, dude. Let's talk some hoops.
Well, we're going to get into his beloved OKC Thunder.
Love the Thunder. Thunder up.
Everyone that's watched the last episode gets this and probably finds it very funny. If you haven't, check out episode 40. Or even that clip of episode 40 that's out on our YouTube and Spotify. Well, that's the clip's out only on YouTube, but episode 40 is out on YouTube and Spotify. So check it out, and you'll understand this. If you already understand it, well, it's very funny. Good job, man. Did you buy that just for this?
No. Lifelong Thunder fan. You guys are all just haters. Nobody appreciates how good Oklahoma City is. So I'm just out here repping, man. That's all. That's all this is.
That's like a KD Thunder jersey, isn't it?
This is a KD Thunder's jersey.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah. Typical. Yeah. That was the last time you respected anyone on the Thunder.
That's not true. No, they had that good year with actually the Thunder. Not that this has any relevance whatsoever, but we can thank the Thunder for Tyrese Maxey falling to the 76ers in a very weird way that we don't have to get into right now.
I don't even care to get into it. I have a feeling that whatever you'd say is a huge stretch, and we don't even go there. I'll just pick it apart.
Okay. It's really not. It's that they were supposed to be.
Just tell me.
They had. So the Thunder had the Sixers, or however it went. Either the Sixers had the Thunder pick or vice versa, but it was top 20 protected. And the last game of the year, it was in the bubble, the COVID season. Again, like just total meaningless season for them. They weren't going anywhere. And Mike Muscala hit a game-winning three, like with a few seconds left to basically win Oklahoma City their last game and allowed the Sixers to keep their pick.
Okay.
And they got Maxey with that pick.
Huge stretch.
You're right. I just love the Thunder, dude. I'm thundered up,
Okay, so we're going to recap, as I said, Game 1, Game 2, Knicks Pistons. That's going to be the focus. We're going to talk about the rest of the series. The Thunder won by 80. Not actually, but pretty close. Sistad doesn't put any stock into it because it was the Grizzlies. We already know his shtick. He didn't watch a second, didn't look any stats up, but he doesn't believe in them because it's the Grizzlies. We know that. All right, we're gonna make some key observations about the Knicks series, about some other series around the NBA. We're recording this before Lakers Game 2 tonight, and what's the other game tonight?
Pacers Bucks. Oh,
Pacers Bucks.
Okay.
Game 2. As I try to as I hope to keep my bold prediction alive of a Pacers sweep.
Yeah, off to a good start.
We're going to get into what the Knicks can do differently in Game 3 as well. And then are we mocking New York fans on Twitter today?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I'm assuming we got some good stuff. Is this basketball related or is there some Yankee stuff
Oh
in
no,
there too?
this is a basketball episode right here. So
Okay.
we're
Because the
focusing on
Yankees had the no-hitter that was taken away by the official score. I'm sure Yankee fans are freaking out about that. Maybe we'll get to that a different time.
Sure.
They also had the Judge homer. Did you see that? The Judge homer that was taken away that was most likely a homer. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So we'll mock New York fans on Twitter and then we'll wrap up with subscriber questions.
All right. Let's do it.
All right, let's get right into it. Let's start with the Knicks Pistons. You're good with that, right?
Of course.
Okay. Game one.
Can I say something before that? Just because to
just
include.
Say it. Why are you asking? Just say it.
Because it's off topic. I just want to say how nice it is to not have to watch the 76ers in the playoffs. Oh, it's so good. I don't have to worry about who they're playing next and have to stress about their games and get mad about how dumb they are. It's so great. I could just watch basketball as a fan and just enjoy the games, and it's been honestly it's been fantastic. I've been having a really nice time.
Okay. Knowing who you are and the type of fan you are and how much you care and how much you react to every single basket and possession, I can understand and appreciate that. And I think I did predict that you were going to enjoy these playoffs. That being said, if it happens 2 years in a row, you're going to be very upset and be like, "Oh, I miss playoff basketball 3 years in a row," and then it's going to become horrible.
That's right.
So it's fine for this year, but that's not going to last.
Yes, that's totally fair.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Knicks Pistons tied 1 game apiece. First, let's start off with game one. There's a rhetoric out there that the Knicks were dominated that whole game and then had a great 21-0 run and won the game. They weren't dominated. They played okay. The Pistons actually were hitting a crazy amount of shots, and especially in the first half, and then they're in their third quarter run. But the Knicks did look kind of sluggish in that game. They didn't look great, and then Cameron Payne came in the game and completely turned the game around with his energy, with a couple threes, a couple layups, and then the Knicks stars took over, Brunson and Cat, including Cat on the defensive end, which was pretty cool to see. And the Knicks blew that game open with a 21-0 run, which was just crazy. You were watching that, right?
I was. Yep.
A couple things stood out to me about game one was Brunson didn't have a great game, yet the box score, the overall stats looked really good. OG's defense on Cade was incredible in that game. We're going to get into game two. It was a lot different. And like I said, I mentioned moments ago, Cam Payne came in and changed that game. He came in with just a sort of energy and intensity, and it just completely flipped the momentum. It really just changed the game for the Knicks. He made some big plays. He drew a charging foul, drew an offensive foul. He had a couple layups. He made a couple threes. Was talking trash, yelling at Dennis Schroeder. I don't know why he was yelling at him, saying "We're here." I don't know. I don't know where Dennis Schroeder thought they were.
Backup point guard, talking shit to the other backup point guard. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, he'll do that. He did that last year for the 76ers. I was pretty bummed that they didn't re-sign him, but he's obviously not a very good player, especially over the course of a long 82-game season. But
no, he's not.
He's one of these guys that for a 1 or 2 games in a playoff run, like he can kind of single-handedly shoot you back into a game, and that's what happened. So
yeah, and I've noticed that all season long with Payne. It's like he'll come in, if he comes in with energy, make shots, it's like, oh wow, this is nice. But then he comes in like he did in game 2, takes 3 fouls in about 2 minutes, and looks horrible. So
yeah,
it's kind of what you get with him. But he did change game 1 around. Also, the Pistons completely unraveled in game 1. I mean, during that 21-0 run, their turnovers, they were making some absurd plays. Just, I don't know what they were doing, where they were passing the ball. Pistons unraveled. And by the way, I want to get into game 2 in a second. They kind of did in game 2. The Knicks just didn't take advantage.
Oh, absolutely. I thought, I'm so glad I didn't send any texts out because I would have looked like a real idiot today. But yeah, I thought for sure the Knicks were going to come back and win that game. I was very surprised that they didn't because it was the same script as game 1. It wasn't as it wasn't that gigantic run, but they kept chipping away and chipping away and chipping away, and ended up tying the game.
Yeah.
And I mean, that Schroeder 3 was insane. I mean, it wasn't like an insane shot, but just it was what they needed in game one that they just could not, for the life of them, seem to get. And they got it in game two.
I think game one was different because the script throughout the game, I don't think the Knicks were being outplayed. I think the Pistons were just shooting better. In game two, the Knicks were fortunate to even be somewhat close going to the fourth. The Knicks played a really bad game. I didn't like, let's just get into game two because I have a lot more to say about game two. One, it's the more recent game. We're recording this on Monday night. It happened, obviously game two was last night. Tuesday night. We're recording this on Tuesday night. Game two was Monday night. And a bunch of things went wrong in this game. First off, OG's D on Cade went from being elite to, not being good at all. And the Pistons did on-ball screens a little bit closer to half court, a little bit closer to the logo, which made it more difficult for OG to stick with them. And it really created issues. The Knicks conceded a lot of screens, which I'm all for conceding the screens if it's Bridges, but they were conceding screens on Bridges. The Pistons were doing a really good job of hunting the matchup with Brunson. They were getting Cade on Brunson a little bit, and Cade was a huge difference in that game. So that's one thing that stood out to me. And if you look at the box score, dude, Brunson had a really good game, pretty efficient. Whatever, he scored over like around 30, whatever it was, 33, yeah. 37, yeah, sure, whatever. But he had 6 turnovers, which this is a guy who doesn't turn over more than twice, averages about 2 a game for the season. So he had 1 turnover in game 1, 6 turnovers in game 2. I didn't like his process the whole game. He was doing way too much ISO, way too much dribbling, and he was not getting Cat involved. And the offense just became stagnant, waiting for him to do stuff. And sometimes it works out. He hits a couple of big shots. Bridges hits that 3 late in the game, and the Knicks probably win the game. But I don't like that process. And forget about this series. If they get past the Pistons and in order to go to compete with the Celtics, they're going to have more flow on offense. It can't just be everyone standing around watching Brunson. So I didn't like that about the game. I also thought this is now you don't watch the Knicks all year, but the Pistons are known to be this very physical team. They've been playing like it, and the refs in the playoffs, like you mentioned plenty of times, they allow a lot more physicality.
And it's great.
I agree.
It's so much. Yeah, it's so much better to watch.
The Knicks' reaction to it, though, was they were so focused on the refs not calling the game that they expect to call. It took them out of their game. And I think this was highlighted when Brunson got the 6th foul on Thompson. He fouled out. Did you see what Brunson was doing on the floor?
Oh, of course I did. I've got a lot to say about this whole situation. But yeah, keep going. So
Brunson's putting up on the floor, knowing that he drew the 6th foul on Thompson, who's the guy that's guarding him most of the game, most of the series. Elite defensive player. And he's just putting up 6 fingers to show he got a 6. Like, he's so focused on getting this guy fouled out and getting a foul call instead of focusing on the game, focusing on what's in their control. I thought that was really strange. I haven't seen Brunson act like that about getting someone fouled out. I thought that was very out of character, and it looked to me like, I'm not going to say the Pistons are in his head, but the officiating was in his head. And if it's in the Brunson's head, he's the leader. It impacts the rest of the team. Hart's always complaining to the refs. So the Knicks have to stop at that. They have to focus on the game and the play and be aggressive back. And also this idea that the Knicks were not getting any calls and the Pistons were. There was parts of the game that was true, but in the fourth quarter, the Knicks were getting all the calls, and the Pistons weren't getting the calls. So you can't focus on the fouls and the contact and the refs, and I think that played a big role in this game. And it was really out of character for Brunson.
Yeah. So again, I did not watch the Knicks. I mean, a lot this year. Obviously, I didn't watch them game in, game out. I watched them play the 76ers and a couple games here and there, but. I mean, good God, Brunson he's difficult to watch, man. If you're not a fan rooting for him, like it is, I mean, the
You
irony
said
is
the
that,
opposite in the past.
yeah, I have. I mean, he makes a ton of tough shots, which is a lot of fun, but just his, maybe like you said, maybe the refs were just in his head, but like his antics, and I'm sorry, he was getting like some ridiculous calls go his way in the second half, specifically in the fourth quarter, and I thought Thompson did a really good job on him, and they called 3 fouls on Thompson that I thought were such bullshit, and again, this is a guy that fouled out of the game, and he was doing a really good job on Brunson, other than these fouls. And
I thought there was one really bad call where
I thought there was 3. I thought that the one that they reviewed where Brunson hooked his arm, like what Brunson hooked his arm going up the court, like point blank period. I don't know what to tell you. Like either don't call the foul or call it on Brunson.
Well, there was that I don't know. That's a little debatable. There was initial contact, and then Brunson hooked him. It wasn't. I don't think it was just a hook. But anyway, keep going. What was the other one?
I thought the one where Brunson fell down, where
yes, that one was not a foul.
I mean, Thompson beat him to the spot, and he just
I agree.
fell. Like, what are we
agree.
doing
That wasn't
here?
a foul.
And then the one the one that he got fouled out on, I guess it was technically a 2-point attempt because his foot stepped on the line, but like he did the same thing to Tobias Harris shortly thereafter. It's like didn't they get rid of this rule where if the offensive player initiates contact and jumps into the defender like that in a non-natural shooting motion, it's actually supposed to be an offensive foul? Do I have that wrong? I thought both of those calls were absurd, man.
You have the rule right, but your interpretation of the rule is incorrect. So the reason is, it's if a player goes straight up, the shooter can't and forces contact, that's actually an offensive foul. But if the player takes a step towards the shooter, then it's still a defensive foul. In both of those plays, that's what happened. Those were both fouls.
Yeah, that's absurd. I'm sorry. I mean,
that was just Brunson being creative. I mean, that's
super lame. I mean, look, it's not his fault, right? They're going to
call it. That's not lame.
Yes, it is.
If you want to say him yelling, putting up the 6 fingers and like that stuff, and some of the other antics
of course,
that's fine. That like I said, that's not typically if Brunson starts complaining about the refs. His dad, Rick Brunson, one of the assistant coaches, usually starts yelling at him to like focus on the game, and he stops. It was very out of character for Brunson to make it like make the whole game about getting calls. It was very strange.
Yeah, it was just very, very odd. And look, like, I don't know, did the Pistons get more whistles in the first half? Yeah, but like, I don't know, were they driving to the basket more and like, initiating contact and doing things that would typically reward somebody of getting foul calls? Maybe. Is Cade a much bigger body, so you have to be more physical with him, and with that comes, you're probably going to foul him a couple more times, like maybe. The reaction just to the whole ref thing and just the Brunson, I don't know, it was tough to watch, and I was very annoyed by the antics. Like he's so good.
You also hate the Knicks.
Yeah, but I can at least like appreciate how good he is, and that's typically. When I watch a Knicks game and I see him take over like that, my first thought is how good he is. Yeah, my first thought is, wow, like this dude's amazing. He's so clutch. He like never misses in the fourth quarter. And like yesterday, I'm just watching him like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what are you actually doing?
I agree though. I do agree with you.
Yeah, I thought it was just horrible. Even more bad look.
I didn't like his entire game last night, and I have a high standard for what my expectations for Brunson are very high. For most players, I would consider that a great game, but I didn't like his process. I didn't like the way he was running the offense at all. And I think that's a big part of why they fell behind. The other thing is, I don't know what the game plan was with Cat, because did you see he didn't take a shot attempt in like the fourth quarter? Even in game 1, we had a really good game, great game. And he still only took like 14 shots in that game.
Yeah.
Here's what I see that's happening. They want to go. They're doing a lot of guard on ball screens for like guard screens. So Brunson will be handling it. They'll either be sending Hart or Bridges for the screen. And the reason why they're doing that is because they're trying to bring whoever's on Hart or Bridges into the action. to get them switched onto Brunson. That's the goal that they're trying. They're trying to get some Cade switched onto Brunson. They're trying to get Tim Hardaway. The problem is, it's taking Cat out of the offense. And if you're the Pistons, you'd much rather have Bridges, OG shooting than Cat. And that's what's been happening the first 2 games is OG's taking more shots than Karl-Anthony Towns. And that's not good for the Knicks offense. So the Knicks have to do something. I think you just stick to the Brunson Cat pick and roll, run the offense through that, and then let everything play off that. So I think that's the one big thing. The other thing is, I don't know. It was a very short period of time. It might have been a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I think it was late second, maybe. I think it was sometime in the second quarter. Maybe it was the third quarter. It's hard for me to remember. Brunson and Cat were on the bench at the same time for like a 2-minute period, which makes absolutely no sense. They had Payne out there. Payne's numbers with Cat this year, it's really good. They're like plus 10 net rating. Basically, they're like plus 10 per 100 possessions with Payne and Cat together. They actually run the pick and roll really well together. Cat actually makes Payne like a much better player. And for Payne to be out there without Towns is crazy. And for the Knicks to just be okay running the offense without either of their best 2 players on the court in a playoff game seems very odd. And it wasn't a long period of time, but I think they were outscored 4-0 in like a minute and a half or something like that. Not crazy, but just the concept. And the offense looked terrible. They had like 3 or 4 possessions during that time. It was so bad. So that should never happen. So I guess that's my takeaway from game 2. Brunson's process, including Brunson, the Knicks, but led by Brunson, letting the refs and the calls getting in their head. The lack of Cat's involvement on the offense. And then the weird rotation where Cat and Brunson were both on the bench.
Yeah, the Cat thing I found very strange. And it's interesting because I think we might have said this maybe in our last pod, but like, what you are witnessing now is what I witnessed last year when the Sixers played the Knicks, where it's like it seems like they're just getting out physicaled, out toughed. All these friggin' rebounds were going the other team's way, and like, that's kind of what it felt like for me when I was watching that game. It's like, wow, this team is just...
That's who the Knicks were last year.
Right, that's what I'm saying. This year. They have one, in last year's case, now obviously they have Cat and Bridges and so on. But last year was like, hey, there's this one great player, and everyone else is just doing all the dirty work, and they're diving for loose balls. And that's what the Pistons are this year. They've got one great player. They got a bunch of role players who know their role. They're going to hustle. They're going to crash the offensive glass, and that's what again that's what I felt last year watching the Sixers play the Knicks. But yeah, what's weird is like it's seemingly, especially in the fourth quarter. I mean, Cat was basically standing in the corner the entire for the entirety of the quarter on offense, and it's like if you're not going to incorporate him on offense, then like what is he even doing in the game? Because he doesn't give you anything defensively or like rebounds.
He's a really good rebounder, actually, but yeah, he doesn't give you much defensively. Yeah, for sure, he's a liability on defense.
Right, and isn't, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Robinson a better rebounder than he?
Better offensive rebounder, not a better defensive rebounder.
Yeah, but, so I mean, I don't know. I thought that was very weird. I thought Brunson made some pretty nice plays, especially down the stretch there to Mikal. I think he just missed like some shots, and that's going to happen. But they looked like the right reads to me. He got a good shooter, the ball in space with plenty of time on the shot clock. So,
you're talking about the straightaway 3 when they were down after the shooter 3-point.
Yeah, there was a few of them. Yeah, there was a few where I feel like Mikal
Brunson
just
had
missed.
Bridges had a transition wide open 3 that he missed, and they had that straightaway look late. Yeah, if he makes one of those shots or both of those shots, the Knicks win the game.
Of course,
and despite being outplayed the majority of the series, they're up 2-0. So it feels a lot different.
You know who made that shot?
Sorry?
Said, you know who made that shot?
Dennis Schroeder?
Devo. Last year. Same spot in the gym.
Well,
oh my gosh.
Actually, to what you were saying before, Devo missed the first shot And then the
That's
Knicks had
right.
all the role players. The Josh Hart in
Yes.
there. Hart was on the floor getting the rebound, and then Devo made the second one. No one's getting on the floor other than they have Josh Hart still doing that kind of stuff. But
Yep.
it's a different type of team for sure. Okay, I do want to get into what the Knicks can do differently in Game 3. Touched on a couple things, but also I think I find it funny how much everyone reacts to one game. After Game 1, you have Knicks fans outside MSG chanting, Knicks in 4. They're going to sweep the series. I see some Knicks podcasters talking about how are the Pistons going to how are they going to get Cade going? I don't see a way. What do you mean? Like, and now after Game 2, it's all the opposite. Oh, the Knicks are. This is
They're in
Knicks
trouble.
fire Tibbs. This is a disaster. They collapsed. How are they? I don't see how they're going to get Cat going now. It's like just such reactionary stuff. Like you can't.
Dude,
I mean,
I saw a lot of people on Twitter today doing so how like everyone in New York, it's mostly like the Yankees, but they all think that like, oh, we're just gonna get like all the best players next year, like no matter what. But I saw there was a bunch of like, should we trade for like KD or Giannis? Like it's like, so should we trade Bridges for KD or Giannis or LaMelo Ball? Like which one do you guys think? Like they're already in off-season mode. They lost one game, so it's like, who could we trade this player who for like one of the best players in the league? Like, just funny.
Yeah, KD's actually probably gettable, but we're not going to talk about that now. So
KD in New York, come on, dude. The real New York. This isn't Brooklyn.
All right, so
hold on. I have to say one thing. What? Like,
what's that?
Can Tobias Harris like go to hell? I mean, are you kidding me, dude? This guy was like unbelievable the first 2 games of this series.
He didn't do anything in Game 2.
He had 16 and 13 in Game 2. For Tobias Harris, for Mr. 0 points in your last game, an elimination game for the 76ers.
I told you this last episode. He's actually having a good year.
Oh my God. Why? Come on, dude. The hell's wrong with this guy?
Why are you so upset about this?
Because he was awful in Philadelphia.
It's like he wasn't good for the Sixers. He had good years with the
awful.
Sixers.
He had a good year in like 2021. He was fine. But this, especially in the playoffs, he never gave you anything like this in the playoffs. Did he have 22 first half points in Game 1? It's like, what's going on here?
He had 15 and 13 yesterday.
And shout out to, of course, B-Ball Paul. Love that guy. Happy for him. You know who that is?
No, who is that?
Paul Reed.
Oh, Paul Reed. Oh,
Paul Reed, another former 76er. B-Ball Paul is his nickname. He's great. We love him. Anyway, I just had to get the Tobias Harris.
He's their third center. Relax.
I know. Hey, a couple nice putbacks yesterday. A couple offensive boards.
Okay, you want anything more on Paul Reed? You got
no.
Is he going to be in the rotation? Is Isaiah Stewart going to be back for Game 3? Or is Paul Reed going to be playing in his role?
I don't know. They're saying he might be back, dude.
Knicks didn't take advantage of him not being there, so
yeah.
Okay, Game 3. A couple things I think. One, the Knicks have not played close to their best basketball. They haven't played close to their best shooting performance. They haven't had close to their best shooting performance. I think the Knicks are going to play their best basketball as the series goes on. They're going to have a game or two where they shoot the lights out. They're going to be okay. But in Game 3, the Knicks, a couple things need to change. One, they need to get Cat more involved, like we talked about. I think it's a simple Brunson and Cat pick and roll more often. Josh Hart, if he's not willing to shoot, if he's not shooting well, they have to not play him. He played 40 minutes in Game 2. Josh Hart, he brings a lot to the table, but if he's not shooting, then you got to put Deuce in. And that leads to my other point is like, what is with in Game 1, Landry Shamet being the first guy off the bench? What's like, why is Tibbs not playing Deuce? If it's because he thinks he's small compared to these other the big Pistons wing players. Pistons have bigger players, bigger guards, bigger wings. I'd still play Deuce. I think Deuce you saw this last year in the playoffs. Deuce is a really good scorer off the bench. Knicks have to play him. So I think that's going to be really important. And then the last thing is, watching this game too, it seemed like the Knicks for most of the game were just coasting and figured that they were playing as if they felt like, oh, we'll just turn on in the fourth quarter and win. And they almost did. But you got to come out with more urgency in game 3. I think that's the biggest takeaway. But I think a lot of people are reacting. They can't now. The Knicks are going to lose a series. Everyone relax. They lost a game. It's going to be okay. I still think they're going to win the series. I still think they may win in 5 games.
You do. I absolutely still think they're going to win in 5 games.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not that confident.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Yeah, look, I mean, like you said, they're just so much more talented. I don't know. Part of you thinks, hey, that some of the guys for Detroit really haven't gotten going yet. So what's going to happen when Beasley was awful yesterday. He couldn't hit a shot.
He was good in game 1 though. Really good in game 1.
Yeah. But yesterday, Beasley was bad. Hardaway hasn't really given them much this series. But I don't know. It's still they're just so centered around Cade, and Cade's great. But it's almost like I wonder if this next game, remember when the Sixers when Brunson carved them up one of the games last year, they were just like, all right, we're just gonna let Brunson score 60 points. And, he can't do it all by himself, so maybe they go with that approach and see how that works this game. But I don't know.
I think the answer is the Knicks need OG he did not have a good game on either end of the court in game 2.
Yeah,
in game
what's
1,
interesting is that he's the one, so I call him LA Anunoby. So he's the one guy, stands for long arms, just in case you didn't know. He's the one guy that nobody's talking about. I don't know why Anunoby just has this fans never get mad at me pass, but everybody they're killing.
Oh, hold on a second. Can I answer this?
They're killing Brunson. They're killing Bridges. They're killing Cat. Let me answer this. Hold on. I just want to say one thing.
This is simple.
Okay, go ahead.
This is simple. Mikal Bridges has been the target for fans. And the reason is because they traded 5 first-round picks for him, and he hasn't played to what people believe the return for 5 first-round picks should be. I don't hold him to that standard. I don't even know how to quantify that, but he goes through he's got a large part of the season he's gone through games where he's just kind of coasting along. And yesterday in game 2, he actually had a really good game for most of the game.
Yes, that's
but then
what
it was
saying.
Terrible. But it was terrible in the fourth quarter.
But
this is what fans have all year have been on Bridges. That's their main focus.
Yeah, but
that's what they target.
But he was the second best player for the Knicks yesterday. So he's not Kevin Durant. He's not he had a bad fourth quarter. But he had a good first 3 quarters, and he's not a top 10 player in the league. So he's not just going to put up 35 points on 18 shots because he's not that good. He's a really good player.
Why are you acting you expect Knicks fans to be rational about their anger?
Well, no,
listen, you are.
Be angry, but what I just want to know why isn't Long Arms getting any? He gets no slander.
Okay.
It's
okay, hold on a second.
He's the primary defender on the guy who went off on the other team.
Okay, a couple things though on this. I agree with you. OG was terrible in game 2. When you say no one's, I don't know who you follow. I don't know. I haven't seen anything, but the people I talk to regularly about the Knicks all acknowledge that OG was really bad in game 2, and his D on Cade was really bad. And it's not just him. You don't just defend Cade with just one guy. Yeah, he's the main guy on him, but the Pistons are doing ball screen after ball screen after ball screen. So you have to have someone else hedging. You have to have communication. It's not just OG. But that said, OG was really bad, and he was really bad on defense. He went 0 for 4 from 3. He was just really bad. And in game 1, he was really good. On offense, he was really good in the first half. And his defense on Cade all game, especially his defense in the fourth quarter, was incredible. And it was a big part of the Knicks win. So the Knicks need OG to be really good, at least on Cade, and they need him to hit threes. And to answer your question, why? And then you know how it is with the coach. Everyone always gets upset with the coach, and Tibbs with his minutes. And people have been upset with Tibbs all season long. They don't think he's made adjustments on the fly with this roster. He's kind of been stubborn about it. That's what people say. It's just because that's the rhetoric and the narrative about Tibbs. And you're seeing people getting on Brunson a lot because I haven't.
So definitely not as much on Brunson, but a lot of people were getting on him for like the flopping and stuff like that, and saying he was, there was a lot of just he's playing too much hero ball. He's
yeah, he was
he's
for sure.
He's Carmelo Anthony.
Well, I agree. I didn't like his process in game 2.
I agree too, but like, and believe me, the vast majority of it was Cat, Tibbs, and Bridges. And maybe that's a fair order to put it in, and then Brunson for sure after them, and like nobody mentioned Anunoby once today. And
yeah, I think
he's a max contract player, and he makes $40 million a year, and he gave up.
Well, you just said the same thing twice, but yeah. Anyway, but you did max contract player, and he makes $40 million. Like they're two separate things. I get the point.
No, not necessarily true, because max players can make more than $40 million a year. So,
well, he's not the whatever. I don't know, super max. He's not the super max. Anyway. The reason I'll explain, because I did mention OG, I got to him after. The reason why I at least personally did in that order is because I didn't order of importance. I think Brunson's process is the most important thing in his mindset, letting him, how the calls and refs affect him. I thought that was the most important aspect of the game in game 2. And I think it's the most important going forward. And I think Cat getting in, being a focal point of the offense is the second most important thing. And Josh Hart, what he's doing on offense or what he's not doing on offense, I also think is more important. And then, the biggest reason is because I have no concern that OG is going to play a much better defensive game in game 3. This is a rare thing where OG is not playing well on the defensive end. It's very rare. So I would be shocked if he was not great, at least on defense in game 3. On offense, that can come and go a little bit. But I think that's kind of the reason why my order. It's worth mentioning, but it's not something I'm actually concerned about. I'm a little concerned about how they're going to use Cat. I'm a little concerned about how the physicalness is affecting Brunson. So, but last thing on Cade. Cade has to be the best player on the court for the Pistons to win the game.
Of course.
So can he do that for 3 more times?
No.
I'm confident that he won't.
Yeah, there's too many other good players on New York to be able to take that spot.
Okay. Anything else in this series? Thursday night game 3 in Detroit.
Thursday night game 3 in Detroit. Yeah, I mean, well, it's going to be very interesting. Game 3 is I'm looking forward to just seeing how each team comes out. What the game plan is. I think it's again great for a neutral observer to watch.
You're not a neutral observer completely, though. You're definitely rooting for the Pistons.
Yes, but I won't lose sleep over it if
As an NBA, you wouldn't rather just have the Knicks play the Celtics in round 2? Wouldn't that be more exciting?
I don't know. I guess, yeah. But a first round, I mean, upsets are always fun. I always, you know me, I'm always rooting for the underdog. Although.
So you'd rather the Knicks lose than you be right about the series. That you said the Knicks were going to mop the floor with them.
I root for greatness, man. So whatever, whoever's the greater team, that's who I'm rooting for.
Okay.
No, to answer your question, I'd much rather be wrong about this year. That would be hilarious. Are you kidding?
Okay.
Yeah.
Until the Knicks trade for KD, then you won't be laughing at
me. God.
Anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's touch on a couple things, if
KD
at all.
And Giannis, I think they're getting. But yeah, go ahead.
Around the league. Thunder up 1-0. Nuggets Clipper series has been awesome. 1-1.
Yeah. Yep.
That Thunder game is a joke.
Dude. Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
Lakers are tipping off in about 2 hours as we're recording this right now. 1-0 Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm.
Destroyed the Lakers in game 1. Warriors, Steph Curry went nuts. Warriors up 1-0. Jimmy Butler played a really good game, by the way. Magic Celtics, obviously. I'm not. Let's let it play out. Let it play out.
No, just say playoff Jimmy. That's all.
Yeah, if let it play out, and I'll say it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Obviously, Celtics up 1-0. Magic stayed in the game for the first half. That was a joke. No, they don't have a chance. And then Bucks Pacers are currently playing, I believe. Let's get a score update.
So what stood out to you?
So to me, I was really by the first playoff game we had, the first non-play-in tournament game or playing game. The Pacers Bucks. I felt very good about my bold prediction that the Pacers were going to sweep. Okay. Early in that game, I felt very good about it. Dude, I didn't know that Jericho Sims was in the Bucks playoff rotation. Do you know who that is?
Of course.
He was the Knicks' 5th center this year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know he was on. I didn't know he was with them this year.
Yeah, they traded him at the deadline for like a 2nd-round pick. No,
nice.
They traded him for DeLon Wright. That's who they traded for him. That's who they got back. So he's in their rotation. He's a super athletic guy. He just has no idea how to play basketball. Has no skills, no hands, but just super athletic and tall. But obviously, that's not why I'm down on the Bucks. Because they're backup center. But the Pacers just looked so much better than them. They just and I think that was watching that game. That was a big takeaway for me. Other than that, the Thunder are also playing right now, I believe. Yeah, they're up by 15. Pacers are up by 8. Thunder up by 15.
Thunder up.
Yeah, the Thunder winning by like 50 was just absurd.
That's what stood out to you was the Pacers and the Thunder.
The Pacers mainly that game.
Wow.
Not the Thunder. I was just looking at the Thunder score right now that they were playing currently. Nothing really stood out to me that much. I mean, I think everything was. The Warriors winning game 1 wasn't surprising to me. Nothing really was that surprising. I think the Timberwolves blowing out the Lakers, I'm not that surprised. I kind of view how that series is going to be, where the Timberwolves will win some blowouts and the Lakers will win the close games. What about you?
Well, the thing that most stood out to me by far has been Kawhi Leonard. I mean, good God, this guy is he looks like 2019 Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard. On both ends of the floor, he's been insane. Have you been watching this?
You didn't watch last night.
I watched what I needed to watch, dude. You know me.
After the Knicks game, I didn't want to watch basketball.
Yeah. Another great reason when your team is eliminated, when they're not in the playoffs. You just watch, But yeah, I mean, he's been like the machine Kawhi Leonard. All the jokes people used to make about how he's not human and how he's a robot, that's how he looks. Now, can he keep it up? I guess we'll see. But I mean, he is doing everything. He's a menace defensively. He's hitting threes. He's hitting mid range. He's driving to kick. He has been the best player in the first couple games of the playoffs. The other thing that stood out to me was Minnesota. I just think that, man, if they're knocking down threes like that, they're going to be a really, really hard team to beat.
That's not going to happen every game.
Yeah, but they have some good shooters. I mean, they got Devo.
A lot of good shooters.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm sure it's not going to be quite like that every game, but they have the capability to shoot themselves back into a game. I love Anthony Edwards, man. That guy's awesome.
He's awesome.
He is just so much fun to watch. I love these guys who are just total I wish I was as confident as anything in the world as he is. Then this guy is he steps on the floor. He's one of the younger players on the floor. He steps on the gym with Luka and LeBron. He's just I'm the best guy on this floor. And he acts like it. And it's just so much fun to watch how confident that dude is, man. And the athleticism and the shooting, and he is Although my bold prediction was the all Los Angeles conference finals.
You're doing.
Absolutely no. That's still my prediction. But I'm 100% rooting for the Timberwolves to make some noise, win the
Man,
championship.
you enjoy being wrong. You just enjoy being completely wrong.
That's right. That's right.
It all makes sense now.
You should try it sometime.
I think I may be completely wrong about a couple things. Maybe Jimmy.
That's right. Okay.
Okay.
Playoff Şengün is he's coming out the next game, dude. I mean, my God.
The Rockets are going to win game 2. That's my new take.
The Rockets.
The Rockets are going to win game 2.
Oh my God.
You don't think so?
They're the worst 2 seed ever, or do you think it was it the Grizzlies a couple years ago that sucked? Remember that? 2 years ago. 3 years ago.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Worst 2 seed ever.
Man, the Rockets. Come on, dude. God. Oh, the Houston Rockets, dude. Yeah, real cute.
You're doing exactly what I was making fun of earlier in the episode.
This is what, you know.
Dude, can you save it? Hold on. For your sake, save this. Save it for a little bit. Wait, right. Save it.
Okay.
Because you're going to do this whole thing about the Rockets, and then they're going to win like the next 4 games.
That would be great. That'd be hilarious. But that's obviously not going to happen. But yeah, listen, I'll save it. You know, it's fine.
Save it for a little bit.
If there's one thing that I don't do to the first couple games of the playoffs, it's overreact. So I'll save it. You know, it'll be great. And yeah.
Okay. Can we mock fans on New York fans on Twitter now?
Sure. All right.
What do you have?
We've got, let's see. Oh my gosh, there's too many to choose from.
You're supposed to already have made this, narrowed it down and made these choices.
This guy. So there's a guy who, hold on, which one should it be?
What should I hold to? What should I hold on to?
Hold on to your microphone. All right, so there's a guy. There's a guy on Twitter. His name is Ankle Bully. He's a Knicks fan.
All right.
His profile picture is a picture of OG Anunoby dunking on Embiid in the playoffs last year. His handle is at Kinda Biased Sports. So anyway, there's a guy named Nate Duncan who tweets the following. And Angle Bully replies to it. But to give you the context, he said, this is what Nate Duncan says. Brunson has become my least favorite watch in the league. It's a shame because with his skill level, he should be one of my favorites. But the referee baiting is never ending. He does something on seemingly every possession on both ends. It's a level beyond peak Harden. Just, kind of fair to say. That's not the tweet, though. Now, the response to this is, so do you remember Brunson had like a red mark on his cheek? They kept saying yesterday. So this guy goes, foul baiting, yet his cheeks look like that of a boxer who finished a 12-round boxing match. Whoever gave you a platform should be ashamed that you've resorted to rage bait. This guy is unhinged, dude. He wrote so many tweets, tweet after tweet after tweet. This guy was like losing his mind, dude.
He's very angry at Brunson.
So here's another one. This one's good. This one's good. All right, all right, so this one. Get another response. You got to go for the replies, the responses, because someone will say something and then the anger is responding to that one. So this guy says, this is New York basketball. Tweets, Ray Acosta will officiate game 2. The Knicks have a .626 home win percentage the last 3 years. With Acosta, it's 300. So basically saying they're going to lose this game because this ref. Because they have this ref. And this guy named Frank, whose profile picture is the Islanders logo. I don't know why he said this, because the tweet about the ref had nothing to do with what he said, but his response was, "Cat is soft as baby shit." The original tweet wasn't even about Cat.
Nothing to do with him at all.
I have no idea why he said that. None. All right, 2 more.
It's creative.
So this is this one was
So you're
great.
not mocking New York fans on Twitter. You're just mocking. You're just mocking the Knicks.
No, I'm mocking their fans because they're being idiots. So here's a good one.
These are Knicks fans saying. Wait, these are Knicks fans saying this?
Of course.
The first one about Brunson about being. I don't think that's a Knicks fan.
No, it was the reply. It was the
okay,
reply.
I see what you're saying. Okay,
Yes. Anyway, so ankle bully again. So this is when the Knicks were in the middle of their big run on Saturday night to win the game.
Okay.
So he goes, Pistons really thought they were ready for MSG with the crying emoji face. And then he goes, the Palace wasn't even that loud in the 2004 finals. And then this is the, all caps, Mecca. Come on, dude. Come on,
That's
dude.
so stupid.
I can't handle Mecca talk. I can't. Honestly,
it's stupid.
I was thinking it's not even that bad if they were to say the Garden, because like, all right, you have a good home court advantage, like that's fine. Like just call it the Garden. Why are you referring to it as the Mecca?
Well,
like, why?
I mean, look, I think there's 2 different things here. You could say like talking it up as if like it's some huge magical place Knicks can't lose is ridiculous, but to be fair, it's not like the Knicks called them. I mean, they do now, but a lot of players and former players have referred to it. I don't know why.
Listen, I think that like you could call it the Mecca if like I don't know if you had like an insane dynasty like back.
No, it's not. It's not about the Knicks though. It's not about the Knicks. Because the visitors have
advantage.
No, because historically visitors have gone there and played some of their best games of the season. They get up for those games more. Part of it is because the Knicks have been terrible for so long, but also just because players get up for their Garden. Like for instance, when the Lakers are on a West Coast trip, LeBron will sit out, or East Coast trip. LeBron will sit out the game before and the game after, but make sure he plays that game. That's a thing. Players care about playing there. I don't get it. I don't understand the reason. But it has some sort of symbolism among NBA players.
Wow! So listen to you. You are swooned by the Mecca, dude. I can't believe this.
You can you can acknowledge that. That's pretty clear based on how everyone talks about it. And also say it's ridiculous to think that it's some sort of magical home court advantage.
No, it is magical. It's I mean, come on, dude. This is not the Palace, dude. The Palace in Detroit. All right, last one. So this guy's name is @Supreme Binks. He's a Knicks fan. Supreme Binks, and then he has a blue heart, an orange heart, and the Statue of Liberty emoji in his bio. So this is a response to the Knicks Twitter account posts the final score with the graphic. And this guy goes, I'm pissed. Yeah, tonight was thrown by the refs in the first half, but we had no rhythm or motion at all. We just let the fucking Pistons win in our Mecca in Game 2. Like, gross. We played like shit. I'm just a sucker for the Mecca talk, dude. Like
you are a sucker for the Mecca talk. The Knicks did play horribly.
It's just so like you said, it's not some mystical place where like they came into the Mecca. Oh no, it's like, dude.
Of course, that's
the road team won a basketball game. Like,
yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, that part I agree with that part.
Next time I'll get some of the trade ideas that everyone's floating around. Because
don't do that next time.
No, why not?
Because I'm hoping next time that we're talking about the Knicks going to play the Celtics.
Boston.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did that even make sense, actually? Game 3 is Thursday. Game 4 is Sunday. So that wouldn't even make sense. No. Hopefully we're talking about the Knicks. Yeah. Hopefully we're talking about the Knicks up 3-1.
I think we will be.
I hope so.
And
Subscriber
then
questions.
Game 5, Mecca. Come on. You know they're closing that out.
Subscriber questions. You
Okay.
ready?
Yep.
We have 2. At Houston Threes 2000. I can't believe Josh Hart is playing 40 minutes in a playoff game. I already said this. Why didn't we see Payne? Why so little Deuce? Houston Threes is like reading my mind. Why didn't we see Payne? Because he was horrible in like 2 minutes he played. He was awful. And in the second half, when the Knicks were behind and trying to come back, they didn't want to take out their best players. So that's why we didn't see much of Payne, because he was horrible and then they were behind. That's going to happen in the second half of these games. Payne, Champ, you're not going to see them if they're behind, especially if they're down double digits. You're not going to see them. Why so little Deuce? I don't really have a good answer other than I think Tibbs is concerned about his size going against these bigger Pistons players. Cade's much bigger. Hardaway. That's my only explanation. I would play Deuce a lot. I would probably play him over 25 minutes, but I think that's the explanation.
I mean, I think it's defensively. I just think it's defense. I mean, Tibbs is obviously a coach who values.
But Deuce is
defense.
awesome defensively.
He is,
but at smaller guarding smaller guards.
Right.
That's the key.
Right. So that's the thing. There are no. I mean, unless Schroeder comes in, yeah, there's not a lot of small guards.
Schroeder's kind of lanky, also, even himself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. I think Tibbs he's an old school coach who trusts the few players that he trusts, and
not only the few players, he trusts Josh Hart specifically.
Yes, definitely.
And given the game, how the game was going, all the physicality, if you take Hart out there, the Knicks have like no physicality. You kind of
that's what I was going to say. Like, imagine if your lineup is Brunson, Deuce,
Bridges, OG, Cat.
Yeah, that all of a sudden you become a really bad defensive lineup. If that's your, you have one guy who can defend, but everyone else.
I think you just don't have
any
like you don't have any of that physicality. You don't have those grinder type players. All the stuff that Hart brings to the table is why he's in the game. But at the same time, his deficiencies are kind of part of the problem.
Yeah.
Last year against the Sixers,
I was gonna say, where was this last year? I mean, come on, dude.
I told you this.
Hart
this is what this is.
Threes. Deuce friggins going for 45 points. It's like, now these guys can't hit a shot.
Let's see what Deuce didn't go for 45. That's an exaggeration.
It is an exaggeration, yes.
But he was really good, and I think at some point in the series he will have a stretch where he plays really well. In terms of Hart, he goes through a few stretches throughout the season where he's not only willing to shoot, but shooting the three really confidently and really well. And then he goes through larger stretches where he's afraid to shoot. And then when he does shoot, it's like a tentative shot and he's way off. And he's in one of those, and he's been kind of in that for a couple months now. So that's the issue with him. Okay, next one. At Colin_Seideman. I think it's Seideman. Siedeman. Seideman.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, we'll go with it. Sorry, Colin, I got it wrong. Spider-Man. Okay. Do you think Colin_Spider-Man? Do you think the 2 days off helps the Knicks? I don't see how it doesn't help the Knicks. They play less guys. The Pistons are playing, I guess, younger guys. It's not completely true because they're playing 3 veterans heavily, but the rest of the rotation is young. I mean, I guess it helps the Knicks. What do you think?
I think it's maybe slightly, but like the Pistons also get 2 games off too. So they might have Stewart coming back, and they're going to get just as much rest as the Knicks are.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like relying on that as like that's what's going to help the Knicks in Game 3.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, that's it.
That's it,
Any
man.
last thoughts?
No, good luck. I hate to be like such a hater with your sports teams. I like it when you're happy. That's great. But yeah.
You can hate. I don't care.
No, there are few few fans of some New York teams that I don't like to see some of my good friends who are passionate sad about their teams. So
I'm not sad. I'm not really. I was a little. I was annoyed enough about the loss to not want to watch the later game.
yeah, wow. Would you put some
I also
curb
wanted to
on?
go to sleep.
Oh, wow. Not like you. But you couldn't go to sleep because you were tossing and turning, so angry.
No, I have a harder time going to sleep after they win.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm more
You're
excited.
jacked up, yeah.
I get more excited about and more happy about the teams I root for when they win than I do upset when they lose.
Right.
I don't really let myself get that down as a person. I think that's not healthy. So frustrated. All right, whatever. Let's go to sleep, and then it's over.
Dude, just join the Oklahoma City Thunder bandwagon. You'll never be upset ever again, you know?
They are up by 30.
That's it?
No,
Come
they're
on.
up by there. I'm joking. I'm exaggerating. They're up by like 20.
Ugh, that's it? Come on, dude.
And the Pacers, late third quarter, up by 14.
Uh-oh. You might be right, dude. You know what
Hopefully.
that means? You know what that means?
What does it mean?
Giannis traded. Oh boy, he's gonna ask out. He's gonna want to come
He's
to the
gonna ask out.
Knicks.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. Hopefully, the conversation will be a little bit more upbeat, more positive about the New York Knicks.
That's right. Go Thunder.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Please give us a like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Philly pride insists that's all. Andrew rapping and white balls. Together they talk sports and dreams. Right behind the scenes. It seems. Philly versus NY. Here we call. Who's the greatest? Who will fall with this rivalry? Now it's clear. Join the chat. It's time to hear. Sports and culture all in one. Catch the fire, feel the fun. Andrew, sis, that Brad unite. Philly and Y in the spot.